is always a fantastic day when feminists are getting wrecked. Just a couple of months ago, we found out that Feminist Frequency was going to be shutting down, but now we have found out that GO Media is shutting down Jezebel as layoffs hit their company. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. I know the setup is a little bit weird. I've been traveling, but I wanted to start with this Daily Beast article. It says GO Media shuts down Jezebel as layoffs hit company. Now, they have been around for 16 years at this point, and they really started off as a very, woman-centric magazine and, of course, web page where they would talk about celebrities and fashion and wellness, but then it very quickly spiraled into just straight up feminism, and they would touch upon feminism in entertainment and, of course, celebrities and then politics. So they really have gone downhill, but they've been downhill for most of the time that they've been around. But now GO Media is shutting them down, which in my opinion is freaking hilarious. So it says Jezebel was indefinitely suspended as major layoffs hit GO Media, the Daily Beast learned. The layoffs will affect 23 people. Now, when you're hearing, oh my God, a publication is being shutting down, that's crazy. 23 whole people. It just goes to show how small this really was, how small they really had become, and of course how irrelevant they've become. But in a memo sent to staff, it was confirmed, unfortunately, our business model and the audiences we serve across our network did not align with Jezebel's. Yeah, well, clearly your audience wasn't that big or else you wouldn't be shutting down. And when that became clear, we undertook an expansive search for a new, perhaps better home that might ensure Jezebel a path forward. It became a personal mission of Leah Goldman, who worked tirelessly on the project, taking with over 24 potential buyers. So that means that not only did they have to indefinitely shutter Jezebel's, but they tried to sell it and nobody wanted to buy it, which is just so funny. And honestly, maybe a good thing, because it just shows that people and companies are not buying into sites like this. So it is good on one hand, but it is absolutely hilariously pathetic that they couldn't actually find a buyer for this. I mean, clearly ad revenue is drying up because it's trash and they can't cover the costs anymore. The people they're writing articles for clearly were not reading them, but they also just didn't have much of a fan base at all. It's like Feminist Frequency went down just a couple of months ago. Well, they announced that it was going down by the end of the year, which was great to hear because Feminist Frequency had become so irrelevant, but Anita Sarkeesian had really tried to push it, really tried to make it a giant thing. And of course, Anita Sarkeesian did damage the video game industry. She is not alone in that, but what she did push and, the things that she just did in general did damage the industry. And I love seeing things like this happen. These feminists absolutely get wrecked. It says that it was founded by writer Anna Holmes in 2007 under the Gawker umbrella. It was later sold to Univision in 2016 following their shutdown before becoming part of GO Media portfolio upon its launch in 2019. Now, there may be some of you out there who do not really know GO Media and the brands that they own, but as soon as I click this webpage, you're going to completely understand, because not only do they own things like Jezebel, Gizmodo, Jalo Pink, AV Club, but they also own the very notable Kotaku. Kotaku is the most thought-provoking, unabashedly excited gaming culture outlet on the web, they say. It's the only destination that embraces not only game news and reviews, but also the playing community as a whole. Games are everywhere, and so is Kotaku. So GO Media does own Kotaku, and this could potentially spell disaster disaster for Kotaku as well. Now, of course, you guys know I have no love in my heart for Kotaku. They are completely irrelevant at this point, and they really do hate their audience. They hate gamers with a passion, even though it is a gaming-centric site. But we could see major layoffs happening at Kotaku. There have been a lot of layoffs in the tech industry, which is where this comes in with Geo Media, and there have been several major waves of layoffs at gaming companies and also gaming news publications. And while we have not heard anything specific about Kotaku yet, it's kind of inevitable. The only thing is that Kotaku is already pretty small compared to the size that it was 5 or 6 years ago, so I don't know how massive their layoffs would be. But even look at Jezebel, they only had 23 people at the end working on the publication, and they still could not find a way to make it profitable. This is why sites like Kotaku put out so much rage bait all the time, because they know it is going to get them clicks, and they're desperate for them. They are desperate to save their jobs. But honestly, if you're doing your job poorly and your job is doing something that isn't appealing to a group of people, yeah, you probably don't deserve to have the job, to be honest. I don't like to mock people that are losing their jobs, but there comes a point where you are doing your job so poorly, I can't really feel bad that at this point you are losing it. And as you can see, look at Jezebel's description on the Geo Media page, edited for the smartest woman in the room. Jezebel is a one-stop for savvy pop culture, fashion, beauty truths, progressive advice, female heroes, entertainment realities, cultural criticism, and a healthier dose of female aspiration. So, of course, they did start, again, as more of like fashion and beauty truths, which I think is perfectly fine, and there's definitely an audience for it, but they heavily leaned into feminism, and not just like, oh, what is feminism? How can, a female come to realize, what feminism is? Because feminism can be healthy in small doses, right? Like what feminism started as is something many women can get behind. But the issue is, the feminists like at Jezebel's and the Anita Sarkeesians that don't simply want to raise women to be equals to men, but they want to denigrate men and prop the women up, which is a brand of feminism I, of course, do not subscribe to. But that is all the Jezebel's has been for years at this point. And I really can't say that I am sad to see them go. I think that it is hilarious, but I'm really curious to see what else is going to happen with Geo Media Publications. And again, of course, more specifically, Kotaku, simply because I do not like Kotaku. And there are some journalists / activists out there who are crying about this, like LA Times said it's rare to know something you were a part of actually mattered. Oh, boo-hoo, cry me a river and float upstream. You might feel like it was important and like it was this crazy thing, but clearly your readers do not agree, because if you actually had any readers, they would have stuck around and your publication would no longer have to be shuttered. You would be successful and you wouldn't be out of a job. But yes, I will be keeping my eye on Kotaku to see if any major layoffs happen on that front. It would be absolutely hilarious, but it is so good to hear that in the same year, not only is Jezebel facing layoffs and they are now indefinitely suspended, but feminist frequency is gone as well. And I just feel like maybe in 2024, we are going to see even better things happening. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.